There we go. All right. And right now, everyone else is muted besides myself, Jen, and you, Mark. Nope, I need to unmute you. Okay, there you go. I've unmuted you.
Okay.
So we're just waiting for Janelle. I don't know if you have to let her in or if she's just trying to get in with the right login and the right passcode.
Right. And what was her name again?
It's Janelle.
Janelle, okay. Yeah, I don't see her. I don't see her just yet. Janelle. Hmm. Hi, Amy Sanders. I'm doing a test with you. Can you see Jennifer's slide? It says how you can serve veterans and their caregivers. Huh.
Mark, was it you? Was it you that has our phone numbers just in case? I'm checking my email to see if Janelle is.
I see Janelle.
Oh, good. Perfect.
Mark, you see her?
I sure do.
Okay. Janelle. I'm wondering why I can't see her. I've got the attendee list. Janelle.
Yay, there she is. I think they need to unmute you.
Oh, there we go. I see her now. There we go.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Oh, I
Good.
see someone peeking in. Hi. Our crazy world, right? Trying to do this stuff. I really wish we were like in person somewhere doing this.
Yeah, I know. So, Jen,
Yep.
did you decide to do the video or just put the link in?
I just put the link in.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm way more proficient with Zoom than this
Yeah.
platform. So I just, yeah. But
Yeah,
it's in there. So maybe you can just mention that it's in there and try to get people to go back in and watch it.
Okay. Do. Have you been watching the presentations this morning?
I watched the opening and then I should have just stopped touching this, but I was playing around with some stuff. So
Yeah, too. It's hard to concentrate.
It is. It is. It's like we've done this so many times, but
Does it get easier?
yeah, it does. It does, but just trying to get the hook, right?
Yeah.
Grab their interest.
Yeah, I know. So do people just wait in the waiting room?
Okay, so Arthur, it's 11:30. So we ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So do you need
So
to...
is there something else I need to do, Mark?
Okay, so you've started recording already, so we're good to go?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mark Linnell, and I am with Salt Lake County Aging and Adult Services, the host agency for this year's Utah Elder Justice Conference. I want to welcome you to the How You Can Serve Veterans and Their Caregivers session, which we are recording for later viewing. As an attendee of this session, you will only be able to see the presenter and yourself. All other attendees are hidden from your view. You can click on the participants button in the lower right of the screen to see the panelists. Please ask any questions you have through the Q&A, which is also located on the bottom right of your screen. And if we have time at the end of the session, that's when the questions will be answered. And I will now turn the time over to our presenters who will introduce themselves.
Hi, good morning. I'm Jen Morgan, and I'm really excited to be here this morning. I will be co-presenting with Janelle Esplin from 5 County Associations of Governments. And we have been working together on the Cover to Cover program for, 8 years now. And we're excited to bring our expertise and our knowledge on how you can serve veterans and their caregivers. So today we'll be talking about identifying some gaps that veterans have to connecting to the VA, why it's important to ask the right questions, how to navigate the VA system, understanding VA healthcare and caregiver support programs. So this is going to be a very high level view because we only have 50 minutes. Janelle and I could probably talk about it all day. But hopefully it will be a little appetizer for you all to consider maybe attending a larger VA benefits training with us. So I just wanted to give a kind of the landscape of Utah and talk about some challenges that veterans have in connecting to the VA. So the 2017 census report showed that Utah had about 134,000 veterans, and 46% are over 65. And I will tell you that the majority of those are Vietnam veterans. 44% are enrolled in healthcare, and 22% receive disability compensation. So taking that in consideration and wondering, how do veterans get connected to their benefits? The reality is that many of them do not. We looked at a 2010 report from the VA, and veterans have misconceptions on believing that their income could be too high for any assistance, aren't eligible because they didn't serve in combat, and that other veterans are more deserving. So, and we all know that it can be challenging from a community-based organization on how the heck to navigate the VA. So we took all that info, and we know that community-based organizations like area agencies on aging don't get a lot of VA benefits training. So we looked at it as an opportunity to apply for funding from the VA Office of Rural Health, and we developed a program called Cover to Cover, connecting older veterans, especially rural, to community or veteran eligible resources. And our hope was here that we could provide training for community agency staff, and this would create a new access point for veterans within their communities and to build relationships between the VA and community-based organizations. And it really started as a pilot that developed into a model that we disseminated to other states. And unfortunately, as being the program manager, I don't get to work with veterans directly, but I've heard many stories of how this program has changed the lives of veterans. In 2016, the program served approximately 1,100 veterans, and 64% of them said that prior to connecting to the agency, they had never connected to the VA prior. So We have an opportunity, we have a duty to be able to serve our veterans in a way to get them connected to the VA and help them navigate that system. So when we kicked this off in 2013, we had monthly VA benefits training, and we invited staff from all over the state. We did designate specific staff at agencies to be veteran benefits specialists, and these are some of the topics that we covered. So I want to ask you all a few questions. I don't have a poll here, but if you even dropped it in the Q&A, we'd be really interested if you would be interested in attending a VA benefits training. And which one of these topics, if you could just pick one, what would you want to learn more about? So if you could take a minute, drop it in the chat or the Q&A just so that we could get that feedback from you and potentially develop something that you might want to attend in the future. So from here out, I've given you a little history of cover to cover, but I want to share with you some of our learnings. And the first one, if you take anything away from this today, is the importance of asking the right question. So instead of asking callers, "Are you a veteran?" ask, "Have you or a loved one served in the military?" And this is important because many veterans don't identify as being a veteran. And that could be a host of reasons. Sometimes it's because if they did not serve boots on the ground, if they didn't serve during a combat era, things like that. So it's just it's a more direct question to say, have you asked if you served? Also, we know that a lot of caregivers are calling to help their veterans. So it's also a nice way to capture that information there. It also helps veterans feel understood and respected for their service. So instead of just asking, "Are you a veteran?" and check the box and move to the next question, we want to inspire you to start a dialogue and build some rapport with your veteran clients. So what would you ask next after you ask, "Have you or someone you love served in the military?" Which branch did you serve in? Where did you serve? What job did you do while serving? These are all topics that will spark up conversation between you and your veteran. And then please always thank them for their service. The second thing that we this is all what I would call basic training, like what the core of starting to work with your veterans maybe differently, is learning more about their culture, more about the language. And I've added some resources here. I love Psych Armor. They have a library of modules anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes long that have VA 101 branches of the service branches. And then my favorite is, I've put the link in here to the YouTube Psych Armor, 15 Things Veterans Want You to Know. Wish I had more time or I'd actually play it because it's really worthwhile. So I encourage you to engage with that video. And then other ways you can learn is VA, they are great. Honestly, they have people within the agency that provide, I mean, they do community outreach. There are many veterans that work at the VA. So to ask a VA staff to come and present at a staff meeting, or many of your agencies, you have veterans working with you right now. So ask them to talk about their military service and about military culture. We found the more we learned about the culture and the language, it built confidence in engaging in a more in-depth conversation with veterans. And I'm just adding the long list, and believe me, this isn't all of it, of the VA acronyms that you can take a look at. We, AAAs, Centers for Independent Living, CILS, I mean, we all have these crazy acronyms. So it is nice to get familiar with some of these specific ones with the VA. So now I want to get into the nitty gritty of navigating the VA. And this is kind of what I would call, I guess, my superpower. And I love it. And I love helping people get connected to the right doorway. I think not only veterans, but community agencies get frustrated. I've heard the conversation in trainings before that which door do you walk through? And if you find the right door, there's a brick wall. So we really try to help agencies to learn how to navigate, but in turn, you can help your veteran clients as well. So navigating the VA, which is the Department of Veteran Affairs, there are 3 federal branches, 3 administrations within that umbrella. So we have the Veterans Benefits Administration, VBA, and that provides financial and other forms of assistance. So anything, just think money, say like a home loan, GI Bill, disability compensation. And then we have the Veterans Health Administration, healthcare and home service, caregiver support programs. And then the National Cemetery Administration, which provides burial benefits and manages the VA's national cemeteries. So I want to do this and convert it into the VA website. So I find the easiest way to find your local VA, you can see this is ours in Salt Lake City, but to Google it, VA plus Salt Lake City, and here we go. We're on the local page. So on the top bar of the screen, I want to show you that these are the federal branches and benefits. So the health, EHA, benefits, VBA, burial and memorials, NCA. So that you can drop down all of those and look at more in depth of those benefits. So now if we look on the left side of the screen, the gray area is kind of, it's like the pot of gold, so to speak, because this is where we're going to be able to navigate our local VA. I've highlighted with a star, become a patient. You pull that down and it has just, how to enroll, what you need to enroll. And then what I also love is down below the phone directory. That is like money. You click on there and you can find direct extensions for caregiver support, enrollment, patient advocacy, mental health. So that you're not going through a 1-800 number, you're not going through a phone tree, you can get direct extensions. So hopefully this will help starting, go play around with the website. It's really right at your fingertips on a local level. So now shifting from the federal branches, every state has a state Department of Veteran Affairs. And we have Utah Department of Veteran and Military Affairs. With the Cover to Cover program, they have been an invaluable partner. They have provided many trainings and many referral supports, answer questions for us. They have veteran service officers, VSOs, that assist veterans with claim submissions. So put up their beautiful faces here, but if you click on the link, you can go to the About Us page and learn more about that. So high level view on a perspective of what our VA campus looks like here in Salt Lake. So we have the VBA, the hospital system, and then we have the State Department of Veteran Affairs. So when a veteran might come to you and say, well, I applied at the VA and I wasn't eligible, you really need to ask another question. What did you apply for? Where did you apply? Because these systems are fairly siloed. And so just because they weren't eligible for a benefit doesn't mean that they might not be eligible for health care. So again, getting more comfortable with navigating and helping veterans understand that they could be eligible for a benefit. So now I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Janelle Esplin. She was started in the very beginning with us as a veteran benefits specialist, but then dove a little deeper and is now an accredited veteran service officer. So how wonderful that their area agency on aging has a VSO right in their office, and she works with veterans every day, helping them get connected to their benefits. So Janelle, take it away.
Okay, hello everyone. My name's Janelle Esplin, and I work in St. George, Utah as a social worker with our in-home service programs. But along with that, we did see that there was a need to better serve our veterans. We saw it was a population that was underserved, and we didn't know a lot about how to connect veterans to their VA benefits, whether that be their healthcare benefits, benefits within the cemeteries, or benefits as far as financial aid and attendance, pension, or compensation. So we were lucky enough to be mentored by Jen through the Cover to Cover program, and had a lot of training, and she connected us with a lot of VA resources through actual Veteran Affairs, but also through Utah Department of Veteran and Military Affairs. And so that was really great to be able to make those relationships and connections. And I have been working as a veteran advocate, as a VSO, for about 4 years. And every day I do connect with veterans, either in person, by phone, with veterans surviving spouses. And it's really rewarding. And we know that throughout the areas where all of you are, there's veterans that don't know how to connect into VA. And we're hoping that we can raise awareness to help you understand how you can do that. First, I wanted to talk about the slide in front of you, like what is important in VA healthcare administration? What would be out there available to a veteran? One really big theme is that it is a large, very well funded, has many, many programs, and it is a healthcare program that has no monthly premium. And an older generation veteran would not have to decide between using Medicare and a supplement and VA healthcare, because those can run parallel to each other. And that is really the beauty of VA healthcare, is it can be used for very specific things that other insurers like Medicare don't cover. So for example, you can see VA healthcare will cover hearing aids, and often those will be free. And if they're not free, they are at an affordable cost, around $200 to $300. VA will also help with high tier medications, and those copays are much more affordable than they would be using their Medicare D plans. VA will help with insulin, in-home long-term care services, which we'll talk more about, and caregiver services. So you can see these are things that regular Medicare does not cover. Also, VA has become really great at community care. That means that a veteran does not have to travel extensive number of miles now to be seen in a large VA hospital. That veteran could be seen in his own, in her own or his own community by private care physicians, and these private care physicians are signed up with VA and will bill directly to VA. The other really important facet that I see about veterans getting connected into VA healthcare is they join with other veterans that understand their experience, and it's in a way a recognition of their service. Even though their service could have been 40, 50, 60 years ago, it really is gratifying to veterans to have that recognition of their service. So I'll ask you to go to the next slide. So you may be wondering, well, is it complicated to apply into VA healthcare? And actually, applying into VA healthcare is super easy. It's an easy 3-page application. Most of it is demographic. They do consider net income. So a veteran would have to indicate what his or her income is. And if the veteran has a spouse, that income is also considered. But then medical expenses are deducted from their monthly income. And so there's a net income that then would be considered. Also, if a veteran served during the Vietnam era and was actually in country in Vietnam, even if it was for a day, then that veteran can be enrolled in VA healthcare without any income criteria being considered. Down below, you can see how you can find out enrollment information. You can look at the forms. They can enroll online, or they can also, do it with a hard paper copy and mail it into VA if they aren't familiar with how to do it online. The one thing that does have to be submitted with an application is a DD 214, and that is a certificate of discharge. Most veterans will have theirs. However, sometimes they've moved a lot, or they just got lost during during moves, or they got damaged and they may not have those. And if they do not have them, you could go to archives.gov and a veteran can request a DD 214 online. And it's a really easy application. However, I do have to say right now, because of COVID, getting a DD 214 has been a slow process. So if a veteran tells you, I don't know where mine is, you might say, well, why don't you go home and just try to hunt it down? Because otherwise it might hold up the whole application. So next slide. Part of our presentation is we wanted to help those of you that are watching this to know about caregiver benefits. We know there's a lot of loved ones, whether it be children, whether it be spouses, caring for veterans. And oftentimes these veterans are having some serious health problems. And we want to give these caregivers some assistance. And many of our AAA budgets are stretched, and many of them have waiting lists. And one really, really awesome thing about VA is if you have a veteran that you can link into VA healthcare, they can use some benefits right away from VA healthcare and not have to sit on a waiting list at the Area Agency on Aging. They can then immediately start accessing services. And so at our Area Agency on Aging at 5 County, we have found that being able to tap into veteran services has really been useful in making our our dollars stretch a little farther, because we can then have veterans use their VA benefits. Some of these VA benefits are physical therapy. Now, Medicare has physical therapy, but you know, it's limited. So if a veteran, I just met with a veteran yesterday. He's a World War II veteran, 95 years old. And it's May, he's used all of his physical therapy benefits through Medicare up to this point. So we made a call yesterday to VA, hoping to get his physical therapy started through VA healthcare so that he can have a little bit more therapy, because he's a fall risk. He's falling often. Another thing that veterans can have, these are in-home services: bathing, dressing, making meals, help taking medications. These are long-term in-home services that the VA can provide through VA healthcare. And those not only will help the veteran, but they help the caregiver indirectly, because sometimes the veteran is too, just physically managing a veteran with showers is too difficult for their loved ones. Also, caregivers can have support as far as respite goes, so that they can have a break, so they can travel, or, you know, run errands. And there are respite programs within VA healthcare to give a caregiver that respite that is so needed. And lastly, there's comfort care and help with managing pain through the VA healthcare system. That could be through hospice if a veteran does not have hospice through Medicare, because sometimes we run into people that don't have Part B Medicare. And so they could get hospice care through their veteran benefits. And there is a short video on one of the slides, if you want to look at that, that talks about in-home services through the VA. It's a maybe a 3-minute video that really helps you see from a caregiver perspective how helpful the in-home services that VA can provide are to a caregiver and to a veteran. Okay, and next slide. And I'll just share a quick story about one of many experiences that I've had. I connected with Stephen about 2 years ago, and Stephen passed away in December of 2020. But I connected with him because when I first became a VSO, his cousin was my very first veteran that I worked with. And it was really scary because I work as the only VSO in my office. I can call to ask questions, but I don't have a lot of, you know, in-office support for actually the veteran application. So I was really nervous with helping Stephen's cousin, but it turned out very successfully. And so then his cousin referred Stephen and his wife Blanca to me. And Stephen had served in the Navy in the 1950s. He had not connected into VA benefits since his discharge, which had been like 65 years ago. And this is very common. The World War II veteran that I saw yesterday, he's 95, had never connected into VA healthcare. So this is very common that they've never connected in. So he and I, Stephen and I and his wife Blanca, worked together to file a VA healthcare application and a VA benefit application. Stephen's primary needs were, he was extremely hard of hearing. And through VA, he got very good quality hearing aids, and that helped him communicate better with his wife and vice versa. It also gave him a little bit of a veteran family, that recognition of service as he would go to the VA clinics or the VA hospitals. You know, they always say, we are thankful for your service. They really make a big deal out of veterans. And so that was nice for him to finally have that recognition of his service after so many years. As time went on, his health deteriorated, dementia became worse, and he received in-home long-term care. This wasn't hospice, this was home health aides and homemakers and respite that was provided through the VA. And then also he needed incontinence supplies, and that was something that the VA could provide. And these were all helps not only for Stephen, but also for his wife. And with the help of VA and then later Medicare hospice, he was able to stay at home, and he passed away at home in December of 2020. And then his caregiver, Blanca, called me right after um, right after he passed, and then I worked with her as a surviving spouse of a veteran to help her apply in for benefits that oftentimes are available for spouses of veterans. Okay, next slide. So I think in closing, I just want you to know, from my point of view, I have been where you are, where you may have a veteran call and you're not sure exactly how to help that veteran. But Jen gave you some tips at the beginning of the presentation to, thank the veteran for his service or her service, ask what branch of service they served in, have they connected in any way? And if they haven't, look at making a referral to a VSO or connecting them to their VA healthcare facility within their state. You'll find that helping veterans is very, very gratifying. They often do not understand that they're eligible for any services, and they will be really excited when you tell them that there are services out there for them, regardless of if they served during combat era, if they served during peacetime. They'll be excited that you can give them some information and direction. And I just want to thank you for listening. I'm going to turn the time over to Jen now.
Thanks, Janelle. Oh, this is so fun. Okay, so I want to just transition into cover to cover is still alive and well, and I actually run programs in Pennsylvania and other states to bring this awareness and training to community-based organizations. So near and dear to my heart. And recently in January, we started a collaboration between our program and the Utah Department of Health's Rural Veteran Health Access Program. And so our project goal is to continue to bring awareness and education to veterans and community partners about serving veterans and connecting them to healthcare. And you'll see the agencies here that are involved with this particular piece of the project. And I think that really it gives us an opportunity as well to potentially host some VA benefits trainings and educate you all maybe on a deeper level on the healthcare benefits and the other VBA benefits. I think sometimes we try to start off with talking about healthcare because, as Janelle said, it is an easier application to apply for. And we do want to encourage veterans to apply. It's surprising the opportunity, the power, and how we can empower veterans from a community-based organization. We can be the bridge. Sometimes veterans, especially older veterans, VA is going more and more online, and many of them don't want to navigate online. They do not want to put their social security number online. And so really having agencies, advocates to help them through the process, kind of ease the way so that they're ready to take that step. And it's not just older veterans. I have a very close family friend that he was discharged with hearing loss. And 40 years later, I'm asking him if has VA healthcare. And it took me like 6 months to kind of get him warmed up to the idea and get him to apply. And so we do start with healthcare, talking about that because it's pretty smooth. As we get into filing claims, it gets a little bit more complicated. But the great part is that we've built the partnerships. We know the people at the VA. We know we have friendships now, relationships with those VSOs at the Utah Department of Veteran Affairs. And it is a great collaboration. So I hope that we've sparked your interest, that you might be interested in learning more, and that we might be able to host an additional VA benefits training and get you introduced to those VA staff, VA champions that really are in this with us. That's about, I think, all I have. We do want to leave a few moments for questions. And I do want to say that those that are participating, if we have veterans on the call, on the webinar today, we thank you for your service. So Janelle and I are open for questions. We also have our email addresses here. I've got it's Utah ADRC, but it really houses all the information on cover to cover. It has a training tab. It gives you some more information about the program. So we'll just open it up and see if Mark has any questions.
Okay, I see we do have a question. Where would be a good starting point to connect veterans already in the healthcare system with getting assistive devices and home remodels?
I will leave that one for Janelle.
So the way to get them connected is through something called a HISA grant, HISA. And this would start with their primary care doctor. The veteran would talk to the primary care doctor about what the needs are, whether it be remodel, whether it be equipment like grab bars or wheelchairs or walkers. And then the doctor can make the appropriate referrals to the people in the VA healthcare system that work in that particular type of program. Also, you could have the veteran Google home remodels or HISA, HISA grant, and find it's a short application as well.
And I think that is a great question. And again, I think another thing that we have learned in becoming advocates, because some of these services through healthcare, in-home services, the HISA, it is something that the veteran a lot of times has to go in and ask for. They're not always going to have their primary care physician giving them a list of things to check of what they need. So that is also what is so helpful for community agencies to know the programs and be able to say, you know, hey, my veteran client, you know, go in and this is what you need to do to get those services.
Okay, we have another question. If the veteran is already receiving TRICARE for life, is this the same as getting medical benefits, or do they need to apply separately?
How about you, Janelle?
Okay. TRICARE for Life is a program that when a veteran retires from the military, it is an insurance program that they receive along with their retirement. However, TRICARE for Life does not have as much coverage as VA healthcare. So it is important for a veteran that has served in the military to also apply into VA healthcare, even if they have TRICARE for Life, because veteran healthcare can let them get, for instance, like hearing aids, incontinence supplies, in-home services, equipment. Those are all things that TRICARE for Life will not have any benefits for. So it is important for them to also make an application into VA healthcare.
Okay, so far those are the only two questions. Jen and Janelle, there's also quite a few participants who are asking about getting involved in additional training, some organizations that may want to do some partnering. So what do you recommend is the best way for them to get in contact with you to do that? Would you like for them to email the addresses that you have on screen right now? Is that the best way to contact you?
Yes, definitely. That's exciting to hear about. Flood my email box, please. I would say go ahead and reach out to me if it's regarding a training. We have additional veteran service officers that are connected to the Cover to Cover program throughout the state. So we look to utilizing, accessing their expertise as well as bringing VA staff in, and absolutely. So reach out to me. We're happy to get this rolling. It's something that I'd say from 2013 to 17, we had a pretty nice presence of a couple trainings a year. And just due to funding, we haven't been able to do that. But with this new rural health project, we're excited and definitely want to share.
Okay, great. So we do have 7 minutes left in the session, and we do have two more questions that came in. The first one is, do you have services for homeless veterans?
Go ahead, Janelle, if you want to
Okay.
take that one. And just to say, this is good feedback too, because we can get homeless program VA staff to come in and educate us on this to the nitty gritty. But go ahead, Janelle.
So there are services within VA healthcare for homeless veterans, extensive services. As you get out, like in the Salt Lake Valley area, there's a lot of homeless service veterans services. And then down into the rural areas, there's a little bit less, but we still do have quite a few homeless veteran services. And those can be tapped into by using VA hospitals or community care outpatient VA clinics. And those are called CBOC, CBOC, community-based outpatient clinic. And within a CBOC, there will be a designated social worker specifically for working with homeless veterans. And St. George has one. I know there's some there's a CBOC in Provo, one in Logan. I'm not sure, where else there is, but there's a lot of services for homeless veterans through healthcare.
And if you go back to that website slide that I showed, that I mentioned on the left side, is the local navigation dashboard, let's call it. There is a locations button. And if you go in there, it will list all the CBOCs that are around Utah. So that's a great resource as well.
Okay, and with 5 minutes remaining, we'll take this last question. How long on average does it take to receive healthcare benefits through the VA?
Go ahead, Janelle, you're the guru here.
So the state of Utah, I can only speak for the state of Utah and my experience with the Salt Lake City VA healthcare enrollment, but they are quite fast. We submit an application, and the veteran generally will have an answer within 10 days. And once that veteran has a decision on whether he or she was accepted or not accepted, they can make an application, or they can make a call right away to get an appointment. So I want to just give a little bit of a story. I talked about the World War II veteran that I met in the home yesterday. He had never been enrolled in VA healthcare, but we got him enrolled. And when I was out to his home yesterday, we made a call to get him his first appointment. And he is 95, and VA will call him on the phone. He has no smartphone, he has no tablet. They will call him on the phone for his first appointment. And that will happen next week. So 10 days to get an answer on an application, and then a week to get an appointment.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jen and Janelle, for your helpful and informative presentation today. We have reached the end of this session of the Utah Elder Justice Conference, and I want to thank you for attending the How You Can Serve Veterans and Their Caregivers session, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.